What's happening, guys? Just checking in with you guys. Hoping you guys are having a good night. And Racer727 checking in, and we were up in Beaujeu for the Canadian Power Toboggan Championship with 340 Super Mod. John Deere or the other sleds did not make her up there, and just had a great weekend up there. I was starting to feel like myself. Ran into quite a few issues. Like, it seemed like everybody was having an off weekend this weekend. And here's the Super Mod all prepped and loaded in Tony Autumn's shop, ready to rock and roll, get loaded up into the trailer. I'd like to thank my sponsors at the beginning of the video: CarQuest, Giant Landing Implement, Castle X, DMB Motors, Challenger Performance, Farmers Union Insurance, Russell Strimick, and No Barley, No
Polaris.
Fear.
223 is Adam Braun from Winnipeg.
And
Looks like the
just put up
65 is Norm Chura out of Enola.
How great that track
27X
was.
is Calvin Iverson out of
Friday
Wisconsin
night.
on a 75 Mercury. Riding the number 2 is Joel Reed from Tisdale, Saskatchewan. This is a 1976 Yamaha. The 65 is Cody Whitechuck out of Beausejour on a 73 Polaris, and Kieran Lowen is on the number 13. Okay, we got to scratch the 44 and the 2 from this race. Vic Mazer is out. Joel Reed is out of Tisdale, Saskatchewan. Late scratches here in race number 42. Good start by the 65X. Wow. We've got two 65s on our lineup sheets, Norm Chura and Cody Whitechuck. So one or the other, and they're identical sleds, is Cody. Cody, I believe, is on the 65X, I believe. But that could be Chura, too. And look, they are 1 and 2 out there. Battle out of turn 4 and down the front straightaway now. 727 right there in the third spot now. That is Marcus Iverson out of Langdon, North Dakota. .74 miles per hour on the previous lap. So these sleds getting up some speed here. Oh, we've got somebody in turn 4 off the racetrack. Two number 65s up front and in command. The Polaris is looking good. White flag, 1 to go. The pair of 65s are battling here for the lead. Whitechuck and Norm Chura on those 65. One is an X, the other is not.
Here's something new I want to try this year, and this is me going to be talking through my GoPro footage.
And checkered flag is out. The winner is the 65X.
Kind of dissect
65 coming second, the 727 third, Marcus.
So here, whole shot, and I did not time the home shot right. It sped up a little bit. I had Norm and Cody Wojcik both in front of me, and I decided to try to pick a line and see if I could make it stick. And I found an outside line that was pretty quick on the outside of the bumps, right on the outsides, and I decided, you know, I'm going to hit that line and try taking it around the track. And then 1 and 2 was kind of hold it to the cones and see what happens, and Norm got me in the first lap, and then the second lap, I gained enough ground where Norm bounced out again, and then I was able to kind of coming on the inside here because he was bouncing out and I was holding her tight. And then I was going down the straightaway, and its GoPro kind of screwed up. But as you can tell here, I was right on Cody's butt, coming out 3 and 4, and then poof went the belt. And then into the winfield we go.
Laps, and this is the Pro Mod 340 Liquid and Super Mod 340 Liquid Final. All right, here we go. Pro Mod 340, Super Mod 340s are flying down the racetrack. 727 is Marcus Iverson, the 165, Justin Habig, and the 16C, Bob Schultz. Chura and Mazer are scratches. Well, we hope you enjoyed the race action so far here tonight and today in Beausejour. One more race after this one and after the grooming break. So we'll do a grooming break, then come back with a 15-lap Pro Champ 440 final. White flag is out, 1 to go for the 727. Marcus Iverson out of Langdon, North Dakota has dominated this one so far. And should win easily here as they come out of turn number 4. And that'll do it. The 727 takes the win. That is none other than Marcus Iverson out of Langdon, North Dakota. 1975 Arctic Cat Mounted Rider takes the number 1 spot. That was your Pro Mod 340 Liquid and Super Mod 340.
And here's the GoPro footage. Gotta wave to the camera, man. He was all happy to see that. I thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, so one of the keys to oval racing is to make sure you get a good hole shot. And it's not the key to victory, but it will give you the key to open the door for a victory. And after that, you take off and run your race. And that's exactly what I did. I took off, I held it as close as those pins as you can get. You kind of can tell like my front ski was on the edge of that snow there, and I'm going around the track. And we're going to come down the straightaway, and we're going to hit about 74 miles an hour, I think. 75, that's pretty cool. And then we come back. Here I kind of rode through the bumps again. You'll notice in this next turn coming up that my speed dropped quite a bit dramatically to the turn as I let off a little bit. Because I felt I had a good bleed, and there was just me, and I noticed the other guy dropped out. So it's just me and the other guy, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to tear up the sled. I don't want to blow a belt. I want to take it easy and finish this race and evaluate everything the next day was the plan. So we're just riding through the currents again, and I'm kind of sticking with that lower line where I'm figuring out getting closer to the cones and riding through the softer stuff and powering through it. Here we're going to hit 78. I think that was the fast pace of the night for us. And rode through the rough again, and I was like, okay, you gotta slow down. And I let off, and then we went again, down straight. And there was only a 3-lap race. One of my this is my second victory up in Beausejour, and it felt good. Finally get that first win of the belt in the first night, but I got a long ways to go and a long season now after this nice recovery session that I'm on. this is me and Tony Autumn. Huge shout out for Tony Autumn for all the mechanic work he did for me this weekend. And all the hard work he puts in on these sleds that we spent late nights tinkering, looking at these sleds and just figuring out how to make them faster, and all the work that we have done in the season last year and everything. Thankful for him to be able to help me and teach me more and more, and my knowledge has grown a lot in the past year and a half, which is just more and more knowledge I'm gaining and learning. And great looking sled. I may have not had her look so great after the end of the weekend, but she's a great looking sled. And then after that, I decided to do a quick walk around the pits, and here's one of my favorite sleds, those Outlaw 600s. Some memorabilia under the grandstands. I never got to go under there last year, so I had to check it out, and there's some pretty cool pictures. I'm actually on the wall, which is pretty awesome. Behind Norm Churro there, which, I mean, I wish it was a cat in front, but what can you do? And look at that wheelie. That's really awesome. I think there's a YouTube video of that out there, and my favorite sled's the ZR440, so I had to get a picture of that. Pretty cool to see Rev in the front, and then the other ones in the back, old bolt style in the background of these ones, and just some cool wall drivers and classic Champ sleds when they were mods. That 99 sled I seen for sale at Heydays last year, Cat Champ, when Cat had a dominating Champ sled. And back in the day when those ZR 440s and 580s were king of the tracks.
.223 of Adam Braun on the outside on the Kawasaki. Nice looking sled. 1981 Kawasaki is the 223. So we get set to do some racing here. Looks like the 65. Oh, we got a crash. Well, the rider's up and okay. I don't know if that was the 65 of Churro over there, possibly. Going to go to a cooldown.tv replay here. It is the 65. So I think White Chuck is on the 65X. And the 65 is Churro, I'm pretty sure. Let's go down to a cooldown.tv instant replay. A little bit squirrely going into turn one just to start with, as you can see. And left front ski comes up, no more steering. Gets into the first place rider, which I believe is his teammate. That looked like White Chuck up front. And it's good to see minimal damage over there. We're going to try another angle. I believe that is Norm Churro, though, in turn 1 and 2. All right, that was definitely Norm Churro on the 65. 65X is Cody Whitechuck. You can see him back in the starting line along with the 727. Got his Marcus Iverson, the 13 coming up. Kieran Lowen on the 1980 Yamaha. 223. Adam Braun out of Winnipeg. .27X is Cal Iverson out of Wisconsin. Marcus Iverson out of Langdon, North Dakota on the 727. Battling with Whitechuck. That is Cody Whitechuck out of Beausejour on the 65X. The 65 has gone to the pit area with Norm Churro. That has been confirmed. Adam Braun on the 223 in the third spot. But right now, it is all Marcus Iverson out of Langdon, North Dakota on the 75 Arctic Cat as he leads Cody Whitechuck on the 65X and the 223 of Adam Braun. Looks like we lost the leader. The rider's okay, back up. Obviously a little disappointed as we will get our safety crew over to turn 3 and 4. We are working on race number 42. This is a Super Mod 340 Liquid and Super Stock 440 Liquid Combo Classic. Tough break for the 727. That is Marcus Iverson out of Langdon as we go to a cooldown.tv replay. Didn't quite catch that on that angle, but you can see the rider is definitely disgusted. That happened all by his lonesome. Following this race, the conclusion of this race, in fact, we will go to another Cubex grooming break. Getting closer and closer to race 53, our finale for the day. Don't forget, following the races, we will hand out awards and checks over at the Moose Den. That is the beer garden. That will come shortly after race 53. Just give our officials time to sort out the checks, write the checks, and get them all signed, and then we will be over at the beer garden presenting those checks and trophies. If there are trophies, I got to find that out. The 727 is on the recovery sled now. Marcus Iverson out of Langdon, North Dakota. Pulled off by the Polaris Razor, so the rest of the competitors over in turn number 4. A couple of stoppages in this particular race.
And here we are with what I thought was going to be a darn good race for me as we're loading up for a whole shot. I really apologize now for my GoPro mounting. I am going to change that before the next race because I am not very happy with how it's mounted. Because right here has a great angle, but my mount is a solid aluminum one, but it pivots. So you can turn it like a clock would. You could either go from 1 to 4 o'clock or 1 to 10 o'clock. And it kind of, when you hit a bump, it kind of will rotate, but you can't really tell. But you lose your whole angle, and right now it's, when it should be facing more up and down, it goes sideways a little bit. And I kind of bumped it back again. But we lost Norm Churro right here. And what happened from my perspective, which it's racing and everything is very fast and very dangerous, was I was coming in and I accidentally knocked the back of Cody's sled, and then I was able to push me to the back because he came in front of me, and then I was lucky enough to avoid him, and he kept on his line. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see him and Norm collide once they were mid-turn, and all of a sudden I see Norm sliding across the ice, and I pivot the skis completely towards the grandstand, and thankfully nobody was on the outside of me, and thankfully I did not hit Norm. Kind of scared me pretty good. In the previous video, you see me stand up, and I just took a deep breath and let it all out, because that was a high-stress, nervous situation there. And then here we are, I knew it wasn't going to be long. I kind of like keeping the mod moving. It's kind of like a person that gets stiff, but builds up heat, and this is a good way to keep her cool if you're going to be waiting, otherwise you shut her off. But we were sitting there for not very long at all. Here we are getting back into the lineup again for another chance for the whole shot, and that's Cody Wojciech. He's pretty fast on Norm Churro's old Super Mod, I'm pretty sure, or maybe it's his, but they're teammates, and they're both sleds are really similar in setup. Both extremely fast Polarises. And here we are, ready to blast off, and Flagman's going to give us the green flag, and I'll get you next start. Other thing I noticed is how my GoPro footage is also a little off in the mile per hour, how it's a little lagged. But here I am holding that first corner as tight as possible, to defend the whole shot that I got. And here we are coming in, and I slowed down a little bit, but then I hugged those cones as tight as possible since I had the lead to be a defensive. Drive fairly aggressively, and we come around the corners again, and we're going to hold that higher line and then do the same movement where we're going to hug the cones again, and we're going to come down the back straight, hitting about 78 miles an hour, I think this one was, and we're going to go in height, and then boom, belt blew, and there I am waving to you guys, and I'm off the sled and had a minor concussion because of this, or major concussion because of that one. So racing is racing, it's part of the risk, but something I love doing. And yeah, so I flipped the sled over, and I'll show you guys what happened. We had a belt blow and lock up the secondary and cause the Super Mod to lock up the track, and as you can see, sled stopped completely, and away I went over the side of the sled. I appreciate everyone for watching and listening to this video, and I hope you liked the style. Comment down below if you did, or if you'd rather have me do more in-person vlogs. Here's Land and Implement, one of my sponsors, and it's gonna be a month or so before I'm back out on the ice again with having this concussion and being my fourth one within the past 2 years. So I'm gonna take it easy and let my body kind of just refresh and re-heal and get that good mojo back and ready to hit back to the ice. And thank you to everyone, and have a good night or good morning or good afternoon. Peace out. Racer727 signing off.